Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know you all are up against time constraints, so hopefully this won't take too long. Many thanks to the committee staff for their thoughtful considerations of the legal questions raised around AB 3211. I do a lot of tech work, obviously, in this space, and the reasons for that largely are because my girls have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I want to make sure we're creating a really safe environment for them. I fully recognize the benefit of AI and generative AI, and I think it will provide unprecedented growth in California, in our economy, also new careers, also things that we haven't even imagined yet. And I'm excited about that growth. But I also want to make sure we're putting forth the right guardrails and safety measures to ensure that there's real trust with these products. As some of you may have read, undressing apps are rampant now in many of our schools. It allows users to create deep fakes of non-consensual pornographic images for underage kids and others, also adults. Creating convincing deep fakes takes less than 20 minutes and costs about $1. Fakes threaten to flood social media and other large platforms online, and women and girls are particularly vulnerable and have experienced harms in at least 3 of California's middle and high schools to date. There's also concerns around deepfakes with regard to elections. I know that's something many of us care about, making sure we have a lot of transparency around the messages that we put out into the world and how we are projected and how we are perceived on our social media platforms. As policymakers, we need to ensure that media consumers are better able to discern what is real from what is fake. AB 3211 presents 3 ways to do this. 1, require all content from Gen AI to be labeled fake. 2, require all content from cameras and other recording devices to be labeled real. And 3rd, require all online platforms to display these labels. I was honored to have bipartisan support in the Privacy Committee and think that speaks to the rare opportunity that we have together, Democrats and Republicans, to really meet this moment, an opportunity to protect the trustworthiness of what we see and maintain California's embrace of technology as it innovates, but also to provide safety and security. With me here to testify, and I told him not to leave a seat because he was just here on behalf of Rebecca Barcan as well, is David Evan Harris, formerly of Meta and currently faculty at UC Berkeley. We have Riley McCormack, President and CEO of Digimarc Corporation, and also available for legal clarification is Ken Wang with Cited, and respectfully ask for an
Thank you.
Chair and members of the committee, it's an honor to be able to speak with you again and convey to you my strong support of AB 3211, the California Provenance, Authenticity, and Watermarking Standards. I'm here today, right now, in my capacity as a senior policy advisor to Cited, the California Initiative for Tech and Democracy. This is the newest project of California Common Cause, and it came together to seek state-level solutions to the threats that disinformation, artificial intelligence, deepfakes, and other emerging technologies pose to democracy and our elections. We're proud to sponsor AB 3211. AI is a powerful tool that can bring great benefits to people, but it also, if not governed judiciously, has the power to cause great harm. This is why so many AI CEOs have called for themselves for regulation of AI. You've already heard about the harms that can be caused by AI-generated non-consensual intimate imagery and child sexual abuse material. Misinformation campaigns can be supercharged by AI. We're familiar with these campaigns from the 2016 efforts by Russia to interfere in our elections through social media. The Department of Homeland Security has already warned that China, Russia, and Iran are likely to use generative AI to target our elections. Watermarking is the best tool available to allow us to identify what content is produced by AI and what content is authentic. AB 3211 requires that AI companies make good on promises to add watermarking features to their AI systems. These promises were first made in the White House voluntary commitments on AI last July, and again at the Munich Security Conference's AI Elections Accord from this February. Given that it's already been 9 months since the White House AI commitments were made and we've seen little progress, I believe that we have no other option than to legally require that companies take on this responsibility and protect our information environment, our children, and our democracy.
Thank you.
Chair and members of the Assembly Judiciary Committee, the tools and technology to enable the key provisions of AB 3211 exist and have been widely deployed for years, globally and on a massive scale. Moreover, these tools can be deployed to any device where digital content is created or deployed via familiar software delivery methods, including the common over-the-air updates with which we are also familiar, allowing compliance with the provisions of AB 3211 to be measured in months, not years. I am the CEO of Digimarc, a product digitization company that pioneered digital watermarking technology nearly 30 years ago. The original application of our technology was to protect the copyrights of creators and inventors at the advent of another technology revolution, the internet. Since then, our technology has been deployed at a global scale many times over by both the public and private sectors to not only help ensure the rights of creators and inventors are protected, but also to ensure the authenticity and trustworthiness of physical and digital assets worldwide. Most notably, our technology has been trusted by a consortium of the world's central banks to protect global currencies for over 25 years. Given our long history with digital watermarking across industries and sectors, we have proven insight into how this powerful technology could be applied to address the pressing issues upon which this committee is focused. This would allow California to yet again lead the way on important global matters and ensure the delivery of the safer, fairer, and more authentic internet we all deserve. Digimarc believes that the potential for innovation and growth offered by AI is unrivaled, but the power of AI must be thoughtfully regulated, as failure to do so will have serious ramifications for generations to come. Leaders around the world have an important task ahead of them in working to find the right balance for regulating this revolutionary technology, and solutions such as digital watermarking that can both promote innovation and protect against misuse must be seized. On behalf of everyone at Digimarc, I thank the committee for the invitation to be here today. It is no surprise that these leaders in Sacramento are at the vanguard of this important conversation. I welcome and look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in support of this bill?
Brian Miramontes with ASME California in support.
Thank you. Is anyone here in opposition to AB 3211?
Good afternoon again, Chair Kalra, members of the committee. My name is Kara Boonder, testifying on behalf of CCIA in respectful opposition to AB 3211. While we understand lawmakers' interest in mitigating potential harms associated with AI-generated synthetic content, as amended, the bill still raises several concerns. Many of our members are working to implement tools to better detect and label AI-generated content, but the tools that are available are not always reliable or accurate. There are also significant shortcomings to watermarks and carry the potential to counterproductively also erode trust. A false positive for reality provenance is far worse than a false negative for AI provenance. Fake material being traded as real is generally worse than real material being treated as faked. For example, the non-consensual sexually explicit images that were referenced earlier. We understand that the author is open to discussing the bill's enforcement regime, particularly the high penalties for violations. CCIA believes this is especially important given acknowledgement of the shortcomings of provenance technology's current abilities and imperfections. We agree with the committee's analysis that at present these are unreasonable penalties. Further, the bill raises questions about how to effectively watermark AI-generated text or voice responses. For example, commonly used voice assistants produce AI-generated voice responses but cannot watermark those voice responses. We also suggest that the bill be targeted to high-risk cases. Responsible digital services are proactively implementing safeguards to swiftly remove illegal or dangerous content like AI-generated images depicting CSAM. However, this is different than the broader context as hashing values are used to help identify and remove such materials. By persistently addressing well-defined and agreed-upon risks, platforms foster an environment conducive to harm mitigation without impeding the innovation ecosystem. But this also helps guard against counterproductive unintended consequences. There are the risks of notification fatigue or banner blindness, and this has been prevalent with website operators' attempts to comply with the EU's website cookie disclosure requirements, which show that overly broad disclosure obligations can be highly disruptive while providing limited consumer safety benefits. On behalf of CCIA, I appreciate your consideration of these comments.
All right. Good afternoon, Chair and members. Once again, Jose Torres with TechNet. We are respectfully opposed to AB 3211. We agree with the intent of the bill to create greater trust in user-generated content online by fostering the adoption of content provenance verifications and watermarks. We are still reviewing the amendments and appreciate that some of the more problematic requirements for online platforms do intrude on users' privacy have been struck. We still believe that there are a number of issues to resolve. We look forward to providing more substantive feedback and working with the author to offer amendments. However, as in print, this bill presents a multitude of issues and requires platforms to comply with technically infeasible and impossible standards. First, while we understand the desire to regulate an emerging technology, this is an area that would benefit from federal standards and regulation rather than a state-by-state approach. Many of our companies and platforms are at the forefront of developing content provenance and watermarking technology, which is still in its early stages. As a general note, content provenance and watermarking is still incredibly unreliable and in many cases easy to break. Researchers at the University of Maryland were able to break all of the currently available watermarking methods. Some can be avoided by simply cropping, resizing, or screenshotting an image. These researchers were able to insert fake watermarks and credentials into images, creating false positives. Any bill on this topic should account for this unreliability, especially when considering the overly punitive fine structure. If laws exceed the industry's technological capabilities, consumers might place too much trust and credence in watermarks, making them more susceptible to bad actors' attempts to deceive. As it relates to this bill, AB 3211 enacts requirements for a technology that is still under development and rapidly evolving. For example, there isn't a system that can watermark text, making the bill's requirements to do so impossible to comply with. For these reasons, we are respectfully opposed at this time, but look forward to continuing the conversations with the author.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else here in opposition to AB 3211?
Ronak Dilami with Cal Chamber align our comments with the other opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or any motions or? Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Okay, and Assemblymember Barrow-Kagan?
I'll be brief. So I want to thank Assemblymember Wicks for her work on this bill. I think this is critically important. We heard it in privacy, and we really talked about the value of making sure that we identify these images, et cetera. And I think that I had a meeting recently with the EU where we were talking about how this is really going to shift the market, that the more the EU and California move towards requiring this, that the technology will come to pass. We can create the internet. We can definitely create watermarks. So I really appreciate your work on this. You know, I've discussed with you that I think we need to work on which agency's in charge to make sure it's the right one. Department of Technology doesn't do this right now, so I have a concern about that, but I know you'll continue to work on that. And with that, I'm happy to support it.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair?
I'll make a quick comment. As we discussed this, I guess it was a week ago in a long meeting in privacy, and I voted yes. I will vote yes today, but as I told the author, we're still not there yet. You know you've got a lot of work to do. We haven't even defined many of these terms in real life. We've defined them, but we've not seen them work. So it's important that California could lead the way on this and change the marketplace, but I do support the interests of those who are opposed, but we do need to find a solution here that works for all. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to show appreciation for the author. This is incredibly complicated, like many of the AI bills are. I also want to show appreciation to our privacy chair and her staff, working with Judiciary staff. A lot of these bills are bouncing back and forth, and so as much as we can create some symmetry there, the better. Would you like to close?
Sure, thank you. And to Ms. Barrow-Kagan's comments, and thank you for all your work in Privacy Committee. We are working to identify the appropriate regulatory agency, and also with that committed to discussing penalties and making sure they actually really align. And so there's a lot of openness there on that. And welcome feedback, genuinely welcome feedback from any of the trade associations or companies themselves. We've yet to receive any red lines, and the door is wide open, so I would love to continue our conversation. I actually think there's a lot that aligns us here, both Democrats and Republicans, but also advocates in industry. And I think we can actually land this plan in a way that will benefit our constituents, which is who we care most about. So with that, respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you.
Do pass to appropriations. Calra.
Aye.
Calra, aye. Dixon. Aye. Dixon, aye. Barrow-Kahan. Barrow-Kahan, aye. Bryan. Connolly. Connolly, aye. Haney. Mainshine. Aye. Mainshine, aye. McKinner. Aye. McKinner, aye. Pacheco. Aye. Pacheco, aye. Reyes. Sanchez. Aye. Sanchez, aye. Waldron.
All right, that bill is out. Up next, Member Gibson. And after that, I'll take my bill, and we're just going to keep on moving.